Since the Sandbox fans, we're back. The Week 4 fantasy football rankings. I hope you're feeling a little bit better about your team at this point in time. You know, you had your 2-3 weeks to kind of just let it all out, figure out the league, figure out what's going to go down. But now it's time to put up. DraftKings took care of us this week. Won all my fantasy leagues except for one, going against Juwan Jennings and Kyron. 70 points between two players is extremely difficult to overcome. But excited to talk fantasy rankings this week, and more excited that power rankings is next week,
It's coming up, dude. It's coming. There's going to be some very interesting names in the power rankings that I wouldn't have put in the top 15 if we had done it. There's some names in there that...
But most importantly,
I'm shocked at how some of this is going out.
Yeah.
It's awesome, though.
No, it is. The NFL is doing its thing. Most importantly, I can actually wear Giants gear on the podcast this week and be happy about it. Take that, Deshaun Watson.
Part of our disgraceful, cheap-ass organization. As we had a chance to go...
My God.
Make the playoffs, we make no moves at the fucking
deadline. I know. But you got the Penn State shirt on.
Because we are going to Penn State this weekend. Penn State versus Illinois. Might have to take the spread on Illinois with how I see it.
Yeah?
I know Penn State played really good last week against a really fucking bad
team. Yeah.
But, yeah, dude, I don't know. That Bowling Green loss is leaving a...
Bad taste.
The win.
Game,
they won,
yeah,
but they won by 10. It's bad taste in my mouth, man.
I know.
Like Franklin.
We do have some exciting college games this weekend. Alabama, and that's going to be a good one. Another week of Texas and getting to see what Arch has going on. So,
Pat McAfee hits the reverse Georgia pick.
Oh,
where he does the roll tide.
I don't know if he can do that in Bama. He might not make it off that stage. But no, we're excited to talk about the week. So first things first, I obviously don't do the Thursday games, so you guys won't be hearing any Cowboys or Giants from me. We have a bunch of injuries. I know that there's some things that we want to talk about before this gets started.
Sure, absolutely. So, Steve, I had a couple of questions based off of what's going on so far this week, and we're going to talk a little bit of hot seats. I think there are two teams in the NFC East that I want to talk about, and it's the two that everyone thought were going to be premier. It was the Eagles, and it was the Cowboys. Now, I know that Nick Sirianni is 2-1, but is he on the hot seat with how undisciplined and how ugly every Eagles game is looking right now?
So I know that's the first thing, in after the way last season kind of shook out, I feel like that's always going to be the case until they prove otherwise. They're banged up right now. Week 3 just finished. Let's keep in mind, bye weeks haven't happened, anything like that. But in all honesty, they have a new offensive coordinator that I feel could take some of the offensive blame there, that they're just trying to kind of work out the kinks there. But in reality, what are you going to do right now at week 4? You're not bringing Belichick in week 4 and the ship's getting turned. So for everyone saying the hot seat on, Peterson, McCarthy, Sirianni, what, you're going to wash your season 3 weeks in? That's not going to happen. And I feel the same way about the Cowboys. Mike McCarthy is the percentage-wise, is the winningest coach in Dallas Cowboy history. Yeah, that means shit when it comes to the goals and aspirations that they have. But I'm not panicking after 3 weeks. They get the Giants this week. That's a layup for them.
Is it though?
Look, I have this on. It's a layup, bro. We can't beat the Eagles. We can't beat the Cowboys. I hope things change, and I hope we fucking smash them on Thursday. My money is on the Cowboys spread by 1 million. It started at 4.5. It's 6. I wouldn't be surprised if by Thursday it's 8. I swear to God. I think it's like that. Their defense is that bad. Our offense is gonna make mistakes that's gonna make that defense look good.
Of the 3 coaches that you named, Peterson, McCarthy, Sirianni, which one is most likely
to turn the
ship around and keep their job?
Most likely to turn it around. I think when the Eagles get healthy, I think they'll be a little bit better. A lot better. I think they have a better roster than Dallas right now. I think if any of the 3 of them are most likely to get canned at this point in time, it would be Peterson. But I actually feel like he should be the least likely to get canned, because I think that blame's on Trevor. Like he's the best coach that they've had there since fucking Coughlin was there. If you want me to be real with you, you name a stadium after the dude, you hand him a $250 million contract. If that's the case, his numbers shouldn't add up with Bryce Young, Mac Jones, and Daniel Jones, and they do.
Yeah.
And I think that it was a horrible interception he threw in the first quarter of the game. I think he can run an offense, but is he the guy that we all thought he was? And remember, this is another number 1 overall pick. Like, no, he's probably not. So I think Jacksonville's a personnel issue. I think the Eagles it's just the way it worked out. The Cowboys should be a little bit concerned, but I think if you give them another 5 weeks, they're gonna remind you that, like, hey, look, we could still put up 40 points, we can score. Like, I know it looks a little bit weird because of like the way things are going with Dak and CD and all that, but I think it's just more because like they don't have like an effective ground game, like, and that's a huge part of football. But in that same conversation, the Baltimore Ravens, like, what are the expectations for a team like the Ravens, like the Bengals, like 0-3 right now? Obviously, that's not the ideal start that they want, that they're looking for, and should have beat the Pats. Washington was probably the best team that they faced so far, like with the way that they played.
Did they just play week 2?
The Chiefs.
Oh, it was the Chiefs. Yeah.
Washington probably gave them the best game out of all of it.
That was a great football game. That was a great football game.
Good job. Yeah.
Yeah, man, Bengals got to come out with some of those wins. I just think when we're looking at some of these teams, I think that we're seeing a lot more teams that are just super undisciplined super early in the season, and like you don't like to see that. You want to see teams come out and you want to see teams come out and you want to see teams be excited to play football and go take all the things they were learning in OTAs, training camp, and all this stuff and be able to start translating it to the field. First week, flags are going to happen, but like with these teams, we're seeing week after week, it's stupid, dumb mistakes that they keep making that are losing themselves football games. The Eagles are lucky to have gotten out of there with a win. If they don't have these supreme talent, top to bottom of the roster, they don't come out of there with that win.
I think that was more of like a reality check for the New Orleans Saints, if you want me to be real. Like that was the best team that they've played this year. Like no doubt in my mind. I think the Eagles are a better team than the New Orleans Saints, if you want me to be real with you. But while we're talking about the Saints, do you think like the Bucs loss is just like a hiccup? Like, because it doesn't seem like it's a big talking point for a lot of people this week. They impressed everybody over like the first two. We're just not making much of that one.
If you go back to our episode last week, we literally said it feels like one of those games that like the Bucs are just going to drop. Like they've been red hot. The Broncos are going to come out surprising people, play the best that they have, and it's just going to be one of those trap games that the Broncos are going to somehow sneak out.
Yeah.
And it's exactly what happened. I'm not panicking with the Bucs. I think they had one of those games where it was like, shit, all right, let's go back to the drawing board. Let's play better next week.
Feel the same way about the Texans.
Yeah, I think that the Texans I think they went in and I think they underestimated Vikings a little bit. And I think that the Vikings came out, they hit them fast, they hit them early, and the Texans were playing catch up the whole time. And they just couldn't convert. Like they couldn't convert on third downs. They couldn't score in the end zone until late at the end of the game. Like they were running into these issues all game long. And again, it's one of those things. Not every team can be 3-0 getting into week 3 or getting into week 4. So some point, and we always see it, some of the best teams will drop these games early, but it's about getting the ship right. And I think the Texans, the Bucs, those are two teams, they'll get it right.
Last thought, Minnesota Vikings.
They are fucking legit as shit. And the reason I say that is Darnold's playing great. He's in a very QB-friendly system. But Kevin O'Connell's dialing it up perfect for him, and Sam Darnold is executing.
Their defense is playing really well. If you want me to be honest, Packers are going to beat them this week.
I think so, too.
Jordan Love's going to come back. The spread's already weird. It's -2.5 for the Packers.
Yeah.
And, like, I know Sam Darnold's a little bit banged up, but, like, it's nothing concerning or anything like that. Right. But let's talk about the injuries, because there was a lot of them again this week, and more big-name players going down. Laporta, that big tight end that you guys were all drafting in round 3 or, kept, he's off. And I know we just got a questionable tag. I'm not playing him this week. Kittle, not playing him this week, especially with like the things going down with Brock Purdy and like a back injury. Like back is not a designation that I want to be around. Devonta Smith got cracked. I don't know how that wasn't like an illegal hit, how that wasn't a flag, how the dude's not fine. Like you want to talk about a defenseless receiver, like dude is literally in between two Saints, and then another dude just comes in and knocks. Yeah,
right
that's wild. I mean, that's New Orleans Saints football right there, and that's why nobody likes the goddamn Saints.
I know. Jonathan Vilma was jumping out of shoes back there, though. He goes,
yeah, legit.
What was it, $50K for who?
Yeah.
That's right. Hating you scumbag.
Yeah. And then two more that I felt like we should discuss here is Justin Herbert and Skylar Thompson. I mean, what the hell is Miami gonna do now? Like, I know they have Snoop Huntley, and Gomes is probably rubbing his hands all together because he gets to see his guy. He actually texted me last week. I didn't get back to him because Danielle wasn't happy about the brunch showing, and you got the brunt of that shit. This is the brunt of that, Gomes. So yeah. But Miami's in trouble. They should definitely look for like outside quarterback help, because not even just for like this year, but like there's been a history with Tua. Like this could happen again. So they need to have some familiarity, and it would suck for them to pay a guy and know that he's going to be on the roster and spend a first round pick. I get it. The Falcons just did it. I don't think that that's the model or the mold that the rest of the franchises would like to, replicate. And I mean, Justin Herbert, he's been an Iron Man. He's played through a bunch of injuries at this point in his career. But I just don't know if it's in his best interest to actually do that. And I think Harbaugh actually cares about his development and his future and things like that. If it's something that he could play through, then he'll probably be out there, but it's concerning.
The right decision by his
yes,
guy.
yes.
That's the kind of guy he is.
Absolutely. Anything to add in there with the injuries before we talk about our waiver wire?
Just want to talk about potential options for Miami, because there were a couple names that I was just thinking of, and one of which I actually don't like a lot because he would be forced to start, and he shouldn't be starting right now, as we saw. It's Bryce Young.
Yeah.
That's one of the names that, again, he's in the market to probably be traded. Miami's a good destination for him if he's sitting behind someone else for a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the case for Miami at this point, so I think Bryce Young's out of it. The only other guy I'm thinking is it's Mac Jones, but now you got Jacksonville looking at, well, Trevor's not playing that well, but we paid him $250. Let's just keep Mac. Hold on. So there's a lot of questions that what can we do with Miami? Those are the two names that I had immediately thought of, but
I got two.
There are reasons why you shouldn't do that too.
Two, potentially three.
Okay.
The first two, I think, obvious, evident can happen like that after negotiations. DTR.
Sure.
He can definitely get dealt. Jimmy Garoppolo. I think that's an interesting one. Obviously, he's a backup right now, at the Rams.
Was McDaniel there when they went to the Super Bowl?
I'm not.
San Fran?
No. I'm sure he was. Yeah, I'm sure he was. I don't know if Jimmy G. Yeah, no, Jimmy G. Yeah. So they definitely have some familiarity. This one's a little bit outlandish, but with the way things are going, if the Raiders make the swap, Gardner Minshew to Miami, that could be electric. Yeah. I don't want to
cheer for Miami because they have Gardner Minshew. Everybody loves watching Gardner Minshew play. He's just the man.
Yeah. I do think we're one other week away playing like that it's got to be O'Connell, because they look so much better last year with him. And I just kind of feel like they're in the midst of does Antonio Pierce actually have this team, or is this team a lost cause? And for clarity, for the player that he was talking about with business decisions was Jack Jones. Did you see those clips?
Oh, I didn't see the...
Oh, I got to show you after the episode. Okay. He made some poor decisions about not tackling the running back on a bunch of plays that went his direction. So that's why the accountability was out there from Antonio Pierce. But waivers, just before we get into the fantasy rankings, if you have some of these guys that were injured, or you're preparing for bye weeks, things like that coming up, I think it's time that Quentin Johnston gets rostered.
Yep.
As a receiving touchdown in the past couple of weeks. It really does look like at this moment in time that he's the number one receiver. I get it. We just talked about Herbert on the injury report, so take that as you wish. If you have the depth and you have a spot that you can lose or sacrifice, or you have somebody going on IR, definitely a guy that you should feel comfortable stashing. Along with that, Jawan Jennings. We don't know how long the Debo injury is going to be. It looks like CMC is likely going to be out at least the fantasy football season. Let's just leave it at that, and we'll wait for the German specialist to fill us in.
That's broken.
Yeah. Two more names. One's a really big name, huge week this past week. The other the more proper Carolina Panther wide receiver, Deontay Johnson. And now Twan made Adam Thielen go in the IR.
But he caught a touchdown. He wasn't bottom of the barrel this week.
No, he wasn't. Malik bald, though. Malik Navy bald. But this is a name a lot of people probably don't know, but has been consistently productive, especially with the absence of Jordan Addison. Jalen Naylor. Wide receiver on the Vikings.
Yeah.
Bro, he's been killing it. Like, I think the first week he started off with 8 fantasy points, double digits the last 2 weeks in a row. If you're in one of those deep leagues, 12, 14 team leagues, and you're like, who the fuck is this guy? Go get that guy, Jalen Naylor. Especially with the way that offense is going. Actually like him to score this week going back to Green Bay. Everyone's going to put all their money in the world on Aaron Jones' revenge game. I feel like those revenge touchdowns never happen.
And Jettis has problems time to time with Jair. Is Jair?
Yes.
Is Jair in this week?
Yes.
Okay, so he has times to... Again, he had a game where he played well against Jair last year. He had a game where he got locked up. So
absolutely.
I'm staying away from the JJ touchdown this week and staying away from JJ Betts. He's an automatic start in your fantasy team no matter what. No doubt. But just keep an eye out for that.
No doubt. So through the rest of the episode, you guys can expect to hear some of our bets for the week and some other questions that we have, but it is now time to get in to the fantasy rankings, and I wish we had a cool mojo button to really press right here, but we're going to start with the tight ends. Ugly list of the tight ends this week.
It's always going to be ugly at this point.
Guess what? No Kelsey. No Kittle.
No Kelsey.
No Laporta.
Okay.
No Mark Andrews. None of them. I'm over it.
Yep.
Over the bullshit.
Yep.
I'm here for all the new options.
Yep.
At 10, Zach Ertz. Had a bad week yesterday. Monday Night Football wasn't as involved in the offense or the passing game, but you actually saw the plays that we called out or I called out in the panic, don't panic, with the exception of the tight ends, all kind of balled out. Mari Cooper. Yep. Terry McLaurin.
They got the deep ball. Like, they finally got that deep ball.
Yeah,
and guess what? He got one-on-one deep, and he made the catch.
Exactly. So they gave him the opportunity. That's all we were waiting for. It just took a couple weeks. I like Zach Ertz. I think he's consistent, especially when it comes to the names in this list. Okonkwo at 9. Monday Night Football is going to be real weird again. I'm riding a Pollard touchdown till it happens because I just feel like he's overdue to score, and he's kind of been the only bright part of that offense, but I do like Okonkwo and do think he can sniff the end zone if Levis stops throwing the ball to the other goddamn team. 8, Noah Fant. That offense has looked smooth. It doesn't matter who's catching the ball. Geno is dicing. I get this week they didn't pass the ball too much. Don't have to. Shabby's eating it up. 7, Gesicki going against Carolina. After Chase has like the big week, I'm not expecting him to slow down. Still a wide receiver 1, must start. Top 5 in my fantasy rankings, top 3 in my wide receiver rankings this week. I think Gesicki gets the ball. He's involved in, that's a pass-heavy offense. I'm not saying that they're going to be down, but this is an Andy Dalton revenge game. He's going to come to play. He's going to come to play.
And if the Bengals go 0-4, losing to the Patriots, the Panthers, the Commanders, and the Chiefs,
Zach Taylor will probably get canned.
He might end up being out of all the names that we
just mentioned. Yeah.
He might be the guy.
Yeah, and I don't think it's ready for that. Their defense has been absolutely atrocious, and I don't think the Bengals offense played bad. First Monday Night Football game since the 40s that there wasn't a punt or a turnover in the game. Love to see that shit, even though I love the defensive football being played.
Dude, and then going for it on that 4th and 4 was just perfectly executed. Cliff Kingsbury doing his thing right
That's the difference of winning games and being conservative. I think if Washington kicked that or punted that, they wouldn't have won that game.
But probably not.
Yeah.
You saw the entire sideline of the Bengals, on the field the Bengals, the life got sucked out of them that minute. They panned to the fans, and the fans are sitting there like, we just didn't stop a 4th and 4.
Yeah, but I love everything going on with Jaden Daniels in Washington. I hate to say I told you so, but I'm just that guy.
There you go.
And 6, before I pass over you, Pat Frymuth. Wasn't a crazy week for him this past week. I know he was on a sit list or a don't start list for a lot of guys. Look, he's getting 3 or 4, receptions. And if Justin Fields wants to start slinging for 250, he's somebody that I want all day long.
You saw the connection with Kmet like last year.
Yeah, the tight end position. And Russell Wilson's another name that Miami could.
100%. Honestly, though, I think Russell kind of likes being in Pittsburgh right now. I think he likes that the pressure's off him. Doesn't matter. He's just going to help Fields.
I mean, he definitely wants to play, though.
He does, but I don't know, man. I can see him sticking it out there, sticking it out for the year just to see, like, because I don't think he wants to go anywhere until this.
He wants control of where he's going to go. And I think Pittsburgh would do that for him. But at the same point in time, like, yeah, I don't think it's a panic scenario for him or Fields. And both of them could likely be in a new spot next year. Who knows?
I can see the Dolphins calling right now and Tomlin just hanging up the phone and say, I'm liking how things are going right now.
Yeah. I mean, you're 3-0. Why would you give anybody else anything?
Don't trade a thing. That defense looks good. The offense is, again, not looking spectacular, but they're winning games, and Najee had a good week. Again, it wasn't this flashy, crazy fantasy week, but he's making the play. He's rushing the ball when he needs to get 6 yards. He gets the 6 yards.
Do you have Najee in the league?
10, he can get 2. I have him in a dynasty league. I don't really look at the dynasty league because I'm tanking until 5 years from now.
Yeah.
But,
tight end.
That's the only one. Tight end. Zach Ertz 10, same spot as you. Freiermuth 9. Like his activity. I have Pitts here at 8.
Ooh, that's low for the names that are left on this list, bro.
Yeah, but I did put 2 names in here, so I do have Laporte at 7. I know he's banged up. He's got the questionable tag. I think that just with how the Detroit mentality is, hey, if you're tough enough, get in that game.
Go bite some kneecaps, you'll be fine.
Exactly. And, tough guy. Laporte is Italian. He's a tough guy, real good guy, family guy.
Yeah, pasta on Sundays.
Exactly.
Even though he could be part of the reason that Dan Campbell's house is in shambles right now. No, I'm playing. Do you actually see what happened?
No idea.
Bro, his address got leaked, and I actually read on Bleacher Report that one of his daughter's classmates leaked their address on social media.
Yo, that's like...
Yeah.
That's like actually... Your dude, he literally got doxxed.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fucked up.
Nah, I know. And like...
That's like an arrestable offense.
Detroit's wrong for that.
Detroit's ooh.
Yeah.
Boy.
It's a little girl, Twan. It's a little girl.
You just feel bad. Like, dude,
I know.
Being
just a coach, just doing your job.
Dude, if for a city that is going to praise you, like, you're going to get crazy people that are going to, and if it doesn't go well, it's been so bad in Detroit for so long, people will just be irrationally mad about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Oof, that's tough. That's arrest worthy right there. And at 6, I'm going Ferguson. I think Ferguson has a good night against the Giants. I'm sure he'd be in your rankings, but you don't do Thursday games.
He'd probably be 2 or 1 if
you think?
Yeah, I mean, for how I feel he's going to eat up the Giants. Yeah.
You feel that way? All right.
Well, I do. I mean, you saw the bet slip.
I did.
You saw the bet slip. At 5, Isaiah Likely. The Mark Andrews conversation's over. He's playing less snaps than the third string tight end, or who's supposed to be the third string tight end. I don't know if they're trying to preserve this dude or what the case is, or maybe they do just feel comfortable with Likely. I know you were heavy on Likely, like fully, accepting this role. And yeah, he might not have caught the ball as much as he did week 1. Don't matter. He's the guy to have it in the tight end room there. 4, Goddard. Hung a $170 up this past week. If we're still going to see Devonta and AJ out, he's absolutely a guy that can catch a lot of balls, be very productive, can get in the end zone, all of that. Just when you have a bunch of other guys that are making millions and millions of dollars, that that has to go around to he's obviously going to be the guy that they're going to give the ball at least to. 3, Dalton Kincaid helped me. Well, actually, I lost that bet by 10 yards, but Dalton Kincaid got in the end zone this past week. Everything looks great in Buffalo. Khalil Shakir is going to be a league winner for a lot of people, bro. Like, he went undrafted in some leagues. Like, that's crazy.
Wide receiver too now. I have him starting over Jaden Reed. I had Terry at the flex.
Yeah,
but I've had him.
He's starting over Terry.
He's literally starting over Terry.
Yeah, it catches too many. He's too elusive. Took a crazy hit at the goal line last night and just ate it. Scored the touchdown. Went to the sidelines. Love it, Khalil Shakir, man.
That's what having a guy like Josh Allen that you want to go out in the field and you will go to war with.
Yeah.
Does to a player.
Yeah.
Because now you don't have Diggs yapping it up in there. And again, I don't think he's really yapping it up like crazy in Houston, but there's a different feel about this Buffalo team this year. If they win again, I'll tell you right now they're number 1 in the power rankings. I will tell you, I don't care if Kansas City wins. The Bills are still number 1 in the power rankings. They look impressive against every
it's not a hot
single team.
I mean, the Chiefs at this moment are still a top 5 team in the power rankings because finding ways to win is just as important as just getting a blowout W, whatever the case may be. But to finish up the list, Pitts at 2. Interested to see this New Orleans game. I'm so interested to see how this works out. I actually think Atlanta's going to beat them. And 1, I have Brock Bowers. The only bright spot coming from the Raiders besides Devontae Adams at the moment. Max Crosby also out.
Love it. 5, Kittle. So hoping he plays. If not,
Oh, well.
Titans don't put up points for you anyway, so it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
4, Kincaid. Again, he's involved in the offense. He's just a very, very good tight end, and eventually he's going to get his share. So he's here at 4. Goddard at 3. Big week last week, and especially with the injuries in that offense. Love him to play well this week. Bowers at 2. McBride at 1.
No McBride in the rankings either. I told you all the big names out.
Right.
He also has the questionable tag. I know that that's a concussion. Not sure how it's going to work out. Love Arizona this week, though.
Love Arizona this week as well.
Yeah. Cowboy.
You'll see when we get to the other fucking rankings. But
Yeah?
Yeah.
No, I wasn't talking about the power. I'm talking about the bets this week. They're going against Washington. Washington's coming off of a big win where everybody kind of doubted them. Arizona's a team that we still can't sleep on. Arizona's a team I like. I'm telling you guys, Cowboys, I'm on the Cowboys already. Buck's going to get right.
Yep, I get Bucks too. Indy.
I like Indy this week, bro.
I like Indy.
I also think the Raiders get right this week. I do.
Who do the Raiders got again?
Raiders are...
Broncos?
No.
Or they got on week 5?
Bro, where is it? Cleveland.
I would love to pick the Raiders. I just feel like the Broncos are on this, or the Browns are on this thing right now where they look so bad, and then they'll go out and they'll win a game with defense next, and they'll go out and they'll look like the worst team in the league.
Yeah.
And then they'll go win a game with defense. But we'll see.
No,
I like the Raiders more than I like the Browns, so.
Wow, I wouldn't have said that last year.
What is it that last year?
Yeah.
But, it was a hot take last year, so I had to be wrong with the Browns. Now the Raiders is the hot take, so let's just ride with it.
Man. All right, quarterbacks, 12. New name to the list. Geno Smith.
All right.
Geno Smith, Monday Night Football going against Detroit. I'm excited for this game. I don't care if it's high scoring. I don't care if it's like a defensive football game. These are two good football teams, and we get to see them in the same stadium. Really amped up about that. I think the Lions are going to handle business versus them. But not like this is a game where I'm going to love picking, props, touchdown scores rather than the game result. But I do think that the Lions get right. Love Geno, Monday Night Football. 11, do have Jordan Love back in the list. I think he's back in the lineup. Home against Minnesota. I think he probably could have played this last week. They didn't need it. Malik Willis clearly handled business, and they probably wanted him to have that game going against Tennessee. I think everybody's roles will get a little bit more back to a normal, with Reed, with Wicks, with Dobbs, even Watson. I think all those guys are going to be back to their usual. 10, Sam Darnold going against Green Bay. Same game. Sam Darnold's dicing. I do think that this is going to be a little bit more of a troublesome game. I think Green Bay's defense is better than what people are giving them credit for. Rashawn Gary's been getting after it.
So good.
Yeah.
Van Ness is getting involved again. So last year was tough for Van Ness.
Yeah.
He's looked good this year.
He has. And that's a big statement. So I'm happy that you did share that.
2 weeks ago, I was literally breaking my brother's balls. He was like, yeah, all the good draft guys? Because I don't know what he said it about. But he said it about it. He knows all the good college draft guys. I go, really? What about your buddy Lucas Van Ness, who literally sucks meat?
Yeah.
How about that? 2 weeks in a row, I think he's getting a couple things.
Yeah, who's sucking me now, buddy?
I know, it's a tough go out.
Yeah. Oh, shit. All right, Diddy.
No Diddy. No Diddy.
At 9, Jared Goff versus Seattle. So I got those guys very close in the rankings. Monday Night Football, I think Goff gets right. Jameson Williams and Monrod, they have big weeks. I think they'll pick up the slack. But I'll talk about it a little bit more when we get to the running backs. I'm just so impressed with David Montgomery and Gibbs both being able to, just be as demanding and impactful as they are. But we'll talk more about it. 8, Baker Mayfield, and 7 in the same game, Jalen Hurts. Love to see these two guys going against each other. Don't think that it's a game that's going to have a shit ton of points scored. There's the playoff game last year. They played each other a couple years ago. There's a history here. It's going to be close. These are two teams in the NFC trying to prove something. I don't think it would be a shock if the Bucs win. If the Eagles win, that would be a statement game, though, for sure. So Jalen Hurts at 6 and Baker Mayfield right above him. Good game.
I like it. 12, I got Anthony Richardson. I do think
no Richardson in the list.
I think they're going to get right this week. I think he's going to look good. He had 2 bad weeks in a row, really bad looking weeks. Week 1, he looked really good. I think he's going to turn the ship around. We're going with 12, taking care of you, Lou. 11. Pat Mahomes, 10. Sam Darnold. I got Sam Darnold here at 10.
Okay.
Listen here. I'm going to touch on the Pat Mahomes thing for a second. I have been putting him at like 2, 3 every single fucking week. And every single week it's, dude, I get it. He's Pat Mahomes. He's one of the best. But so far this season, if Josh Allen plays like Patrick Mahomes is playing, and I said the same thing last week, it is a conversation that we're having saying he's overrated.
Hey. I don't have Mahomes in my rankings this week.
You
don't got to explain yourself too hard. The fantasy production hasn't been there. He's still the best quarterback in the NFL.
Sheer talent, yes. He's not playing like it right now, though.
He admitted that, so I feel like having that accountability is huge because there's some guys in the NFL, not going to say any names, that wouldn't say that.
Say what?
No, I'm not saying any names. Not saying any names. Kyler Murray, but
he's dropping 30 in a war zone.
Yeah, no, I know. Did you see everybody saying like, "Oh, Kyler Murray's playing good. Wait till October or whatever when Call of Duty comes out." Yeah. and honestly, like Mahomes could have been in this list over Geno Smith. I just think it's a division game. I know the Chargers are banged up. I still think that they're gonna play a gritty game. I think it's gonna be Steele. Maybe they'll activate Hunt and play a little bit like that. Rashee Rice isn't going to be able to tear up the Chargers like that. And it does suck Derwin James is suspended for the game, too.
Was it for the...
It was for some weird shit, bro. It really was. I think it was for, like, his hit on the field.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Was it like a slam hit? Did he do...
No, it was to the head. It was.
Oh, it was to the head. Okay. I thought I saw him slam somebody in the game, too.
That was Travis Kelce 2 years ago.
That was the most beautiful thing ever, by the way. So I left it with 10. Darnold's cooking. He's going to be in this list until he stops cooking. 9, I got Baker. 8, I got Lamar.
Whoa! Why?
I'm not feeling too good about these fucking Ravens, man.
I know, but he's putting up fantasy points.
Yes, but like it's who do they got? It was
they're playing Buffalo. They just played Dallas.
I know, but
bro, he had 25.
Dude, I just think Buffalo's gonna fucking smoke him, and I really think I do not like the Ravens playing a game where it's going to be a shootout. I don't like them playing from down points either. I think that forces Lamar to have to throw it a lot more. And I get it. He can throw the football, but he is not the best thrower of the football in the NFL. And I think with the way this Bills defense is playing, inspired, able to go up points and then get after the passer, I think it's going to be very, very tough for Lamar Jackson to succeed in this.
Big road game for Buffalo, though. We'll say that. Sunday night.
It's not easy to go play in Baltimore, but Baltimore has not looked like Baltimore this year. So that's what I'll say. I'm going to put Lamar at 8. And I'm sorry, maybe me putting him at 8 will make them play good. 7, Jalen Hurts. Too many weapons. I get it. The weapons are depleted right now, but he's still finding a way to get points, even if I think he's a little bit over. To go number 2 in fantasy overall of all the quarterbacks is crazy to me.
I mean, it depends on your league. I'm not taking him 2 overall, but
no shot.
Yeah.
No shot.
But I mean, it is. I will say this is a big flipperoonie because we just talked about him being a steal and the point guard of that offense, and then it was a bad pick that he threw and stuff like that. So I'm not panicking on Hurts.
Our recency bias. I love my recency bias.
You do. That always impacts your rankings. But 6, you want to talk about recency bias? This guy should be higher than 6 if that's the case. But this is where Jaden Daniels is going against Arizona. Don't think he's going to be as prolific passing the football. I do think he'll get a little bit more back in the rushing yards column and things like that. But I do think that the Bengals defense did a really good job containing him last night. He didn't get 50 rushing yards. I thought that was a great job by them.
So good that they forgot to cover.
Yeah. Yeah.
They did so good at stopping.
Cam Taylor-Britt, man, you should stop running your mouth for real.
Oh my
for real.
God, it was a legendary bad performance last night.
5 is Joe Burrow going against Carolina. I mean, I am expecting him to light it up. I do like that they got both Chase Brown and Zach Moss heavily involved last night. The defense just wasn't there to play. Hopefully they show up going against the Carolina team. 4, Kyler Murray going against Washington. Points galore is going to be in there. There's going to be absolutely no defense played in that game whatsoever. MHJ, big game. Zach Ertz over on the catches. Jaden Daniels to score again. Hopefully Eck was healthy because, like, I like that they're running, like, the 2 running backs with B-Rob and Eckler and just saying, hey, like, a linebacker or a nickel isn't going to cover these guys.
It's like a very different type of running back, but it's almost like the Detroit committee.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, Gibbs and Montgomery are not even close to those types of running backs.
No.
But those 2 running backs complement each other very, very well in a similar way that Detroit's running back room complements.
And I'm really impressed with the way Washington has integrated the both of them in that offense. So shout out to Cliff Kingsbury on that.
Dude, he's good, man.
Yeah.
He's a good ass, like, OC.
He'll be getting some interviews after this year, no doubt. maybe for Jacksonville. 3, CJ Stroud going against Jacksonville. They're going to be one of these home dominant teams. They're going to win every single home game. It does have me a little bit wary that they're coming off of a loss and they're going to play Jacksonville, who everyone's going to bet against this week. Kind of more on the no touchy-feely type of game. Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't have it here with my bets. Even though it should be a shoo-in for the Texans.
Yeah. Yeah.
This feels Broncos, Buccaneers-esque to me.
Yes.
I don't like that.
Absolutely. 2-1 of the Sunday Night Football game. Josh Allen 2, Lamar Jackson 1. Think Josh Allen runs in the end zone. Think Lamar runs all over the yard. Think it's going to be the only way to slow down that pass rush because they just have an abundance of guys. Now that Vaughn's healthy, Russo, Epinesa, Oliver up the middle. Yeah. I know that they don't have the linebacker play that they were expecting, but the defensive backs are honestly playing well. Can't say anything about Hamlin.
Dude, he's playing good.
Yeah.
He's playing very good. It's good to see, dude. It's really good. He was on McAfee today, too, like shooting the shit. So it's good to see, man. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and glaze Buffalo the whole time, but Buffalo looks like one of those teams that can go get a Super Bowl this year. So we'll see how the season shakes out. Steve, at 6, I got Dak Prescott, who I'm sure would be in your rankings if it wasn't Thursday night.
He'd be 1.
He'd be 1.
I swear, bro, I feel that good about the Cowboys versus the Giants. I'm sorry, but
you're about to make me throw $1,000 on it. Yeah, so Joe Burrow at 5. I think he's going to carve it up this week. I think they get right against the Panthers. I get it. The Red Rocket revenge game. All right. It's also Joe Burrow needs a little bit of revenge, too. Yeah. So Joe Burrow's going to carve it up this week. CJ Stroud at 4. Think even if they end up losing this game, I think they will score points, and I think CJ Stroud will throw a couple of touchdowns. Jaden Daniels at 3. Got him high up here, Steve. I think he's in for a shoo-in. Unbelievable performance against Arizona.
Rookie of the year. Talk about it. What has to happen for Daniels or make the case for Malik Nabers?
Okay. Thank God you said Nabers because we're trying to win some bets here.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that MHJ isn't going to be in that conversation.
Nabers looks like the better receiver right now, and he's doing it with a
worse quarterback.
Worse offense in general. So
he is the offense.
He literally is. That's it. 8 catches, 78 yards, 2 touchdowns. I'm thinking that Jaden Daniels to win Offensive Rookie of the Year, it's probably going to be easier for a quarterback to win it. If he can end up with 4,500 scrimmage yards and 37-plus total touchdowns.
You think like 4,500 is a big number for a rookie quarterback.
It's a big number, but he's let's say he throws for like 3,200. Oh, he's not running for 13.
3,700.
Yeah, throws for 3,700.
Rushes for 8.
Yeah, I literally think he's not going to get 1,000 rushing yards, but I do think he's going to be in that 750, 800 conversation for rushing. Think he's going to be over 3,200 passing yards. So again, okay, so maybe 4,000 is a little bit more realistic. It's not the bold predictions episode, so maybe I got a little carried away. But if we're talking Malik Nabers, we're looking at a 100 catch guy.
No doubt, he's going to have that.
Yep, and we're looking at it's going to be more. I'm going to say 1350 for receiving yards.
I like it.
11 touchdowns. I think that's more than enough to do. And I think if those two go against each other, I think that it's going to be more impressive from Malik Nabers.
Yeah.
And he may get the nod.
I know. It's the only thing that worries me is the quarterback. These are the only 2 guys I bet rookie in the year on. So, like, I'm happy either way. I actually hope they give me a cash out on one, and then I get to, like, just kind of make a pick between the 2. And I'm like, yeah, take it. I'll take it. Right. You have 2 and 1 in your quarterbacks.
Yep. Josh Allen, 2. Looking like the best quarterback in the NFL right now. 1, Kyler Murray. Think he's going to throw all over the yard. Now, this Commanders-Cardinals game screams points to me. When that happens, we get a game. We get a shitty-ass game. Yeah. So, I'm going with gut here. Yeah, I'm going to go with gut. I do think there's going to be points in this game, and I think Kyler and Jaden are primed to carve up each other's defenses.
Yeah, and honestly, expect the running backs to be heavily involved. If Eckler's in or not, B-Rob it can handle the load. And it's blasphemy to me that, like, this dude was, like, legit drafted after the 7th round in fantasy leagues. Like, for years now, though. Like, it's crazy. Like, after his production last year, like, I just don't understand how he doesn't get drafted before, like, a DeAndre Swift.
Especially looking at it where you have a rookie quarterback and they're going to want to be able to run the ball to keep the pressure off him.
Yeah, don't get it.
What a steal.
Absolutely.
That's a league winner right there.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, coming over to the running backs. Couple names off the list.
Okay.
There's a lot of guys to talk about here. Singletary would have made the list if it wasn't a Thursday game this week. But just missed Swift.
Okay.
Moss.
Okay.
Just missed Josh Jacobs just missed.
All three missed on my
I hate to say Josh Jacobs. I really do. We do 20 backs now. There's a lot of backs in this list that I feel good about this week.
Especially because the running back game is dominating the offenses this year. So now we're having this switch where we're like, I actually don't know that I like some of these wide receivers that are in my rankings. I want more running backs in my rankings. It's weird.
Bro, when you hear some of like the back end names on my wide receiver list, I feel much more confident. Even playing some of those guys that just missed the list on a flex start for some of these wide receivers, no doubt. 20, talked about him a little bit in the beginning of the show. Tony Pollard. Think he's a lock to get in the end zone versus Miami. Had a bunch of bets that relied on a Monday Night Football touchdown this past week. Jamar Chase, thank you. I appreciate it.
We love you.
Yes. And we want more of that. But Tony Pollard is going to be my guy I'm going to be banking on. So I know you guys are listening. Tony Pollard this week. 19, Travis Etienne. Worst probably spot that I've had him in this year, probably in the past couple years. I think Houston knows, like, hey, keep the ball in Trevor's hand. Like, shut down that run. Where this game's in Houston, I think it's going to be tough. I do think, like, he just has a knack for getting in the end zone. Almost did last night.
Dude, no matter what happens, it's 12 points or more for Travis Etienne.
Yeah.
This year, it's not looking pretty, but he's getting it.
Yeah, absolutely. 18, James Conner right above him. I just think he sneaks in the end zone versus Washington. Just creeps in there a little bit. Does good enough, though, to have a great week inside the top 20. 17, Ramondre Stevenson. Look, don't love the matchup. And definitely could debate a lot of these guys that were outside, especially a Josh Jacobs in here. But I do think the Patriots are going to be – they're not going to get blown out. I'm going to say that. I don't think that they're going to win. But versus the 49ers, if you're going to be competitive in this game, Ramondre Stevenson needs to be stapled. He needs to make his impact felt. Right above him, 16, J.K. Dobbins. He could have a field day on Kansas City. I think it's going to be a heavy dose of J.K. and Gus Edwards, especially depending on what the quarterback scenario is. I know that they're going to be down a couple tackles. That's going to be hard to overcome. But this is also going to be like a betting favorite game of Kansas City with a 7-point spread. Something to just kind of keep in mind there.
I know they're banged up. I really like the way the Chargers have played football so far this
year,
though. And
big
again,
difference.
It doesn't look like the Steelers are the team to shut down how they want to play football. They were tailor-made for it.
For sure.
My buddy Will giving you shit in the comments, by the way.
Hey, I love it, though. Look, hey, Will, I'm all about it. And look, after that, I didn't like think of it. And I'm like, yo, I really have gone against Pittsburgh. Like, the thing for me, like, to just elaborate on it a little bit, they just don't do enough that make me like, oh, this team's got it. You know what I mean?
You're not sitting there going like, Pittsburgh's going to beat you with this.
Yeah.
Or you can say that, but it's like they're going to beat you with defense and control time. And
yeah.
That's fucking dumb.
Yeah.
I'm picking Lad McConkey to go for 100 yards.
And my whole thing is, it's like, I know that they're not putting up 20 a game. So with that being known, it just kind of makes it easier for me to pick the other team because it only takes 2 touchdowns to kind of outscore them. But what I will say, in Pittsburgh's defense, there's not a player on this planet that's playing better football right now than TJ Watt. Nobody.
Already defensive player of the year.
Nobody.
I don't care what anyone
Yeah, nobody. Hands down. But we'll talk about Pittsburgh real soon. Wait 1 week. 15, Mason, right above Dobbins. Just think with everything going down with San Francisco, he has to be the one constant. And if you were wary about getting Mason with the whole CMC injury, you got to feel really good right now. Hearing everything kind of way it broke down. 14, B-Rob versus Arizona. This dude just finds the end zone. It don't even matter like how many yards he has because he's just like ETN. He's that 12-14 consistent. Like, he's not going to rush for $150, but he's going to get in, and he catches the ball too. So I feel really good about him as a consistent starter unless you have 3 backs higher than him, which I highly doubt.
How can you? Well, I guess he was getting drafted super late, so maybe.
Bro, I got him in the league that I have Breece Hall, Jonathan Taylor, and ETN. So those are my 4 backs.
Literally, dump ETN and just
I'm honestly
like a
not.
great tight end or something.
I'm literally not because I'm just like, why am I going to make anybody better? Somebody gets hurt, I still have a great scenario.
Well, how's your receivers and tight ends look?
tight ends are tight ends. So like it just
okay. So you don't have Bowers. Is what
Yeah, no, I don't. But receivers, like I'm fine. Like I have depth, so I'm not concerned about it. Back to the rankings though, 13 and 12, Monty and Gibbs. I can't believe like consistently like these two guys can be top 15 backs. It's such a hard expectation to rely on it in fantasy football. But, like, I actually think, like, you can play these two guys on the same fantasy team and, like, feel good about their production. Like, imagine you drafted Gibbs in 2 or 3 and, like, 7 came around and Monty was still there. These guys are getting 10-plus a week.
I know.
Like, it wouldn't even matter who scored the touchdown at that point, as long as it was that backfield, and they consistently run the ball. It's really impressive. This team is going to be led by the ground game. And it's... I don't want to say it's different than last year, but it kind of is. Like these guys are studs. So I could sit here and I could talk a lot about these two guys, but we have a bunch of other names on the list, and it's crazy. I'm going to put this backup running back above them, but I mean he looks really good right now. Charbonnet in that same game, like all these backs to score. Monday Night Football. It's going to be fun.
Fuck up with this Kenneth Walker pick.
What, the panic? Yeah. I know.
He should play this week, though. I think he should play this week.
He should.
I think he should. Maybe give him less carries, but you got to get him back in ball.
Yeah.
Like, I guess maybe it's more of an oblique injury than we really thought. Like,
yeah.
It's more serious, but we'll see. 20, I got ETN, so very close to where you had him. Again, he's a 12 to 14 point guy right now, and that's what he's going to get.
Absolutely.
19, Rashad White, Bucky Irving combo. Whichever one of them does better is going to be in there. I'm leaning Rashad White this week, but I think that, again, you're going to start to see this because at 18, it's the Walker Charbonnet, whichever one plays. That's what I have. And now you're starting to see with these running back rooms, it's, wow, we had 3 great receivers. All these teams had 3 great receivers. How are you going to stop them?
Yeah.
And now all these teams are going in, yeah, we got 2 great running backs. How are you going to stop us? How are you going to stop 2 great running backs? You're not.
I got to do it again, too.
But it's like it's this shift in like all of these teams that are playing running back by committee, they're just incredibly successful on offense.
Yeah.
It's a great way to do it. It's just, I love the shift that we see where it went to a pass-heavy game. Now it's going to a run-heavy game again. We're just going to keep seeing this back and forth.
Football, man.
It's awesome.
Football. I love it.
To see. Steve at 17, Singletary is here because I'm doing the Thursday games, and I think Singletary's a shoo-in for like 70+.
Bro, he's so good. I'm happy with the way it works out. Obviously, like, imagine we had him and Saquon. I'd run the ball 40 times a game.
Literally.
But
and then the other 20 times you want to throw, just target
Neighbors.
every time.
Yeah, legit. But
16,
yeah,
Jordan
good.
Mason, pretty close to where you had him. 15, I got James Conner. I think he's going to have a pretty good week this week, going to sniff the end zone as well. Aaron Jones, 14. I think he's going to play good. But you said it perfectly. I don't think it's this Aaron Jones revenge game going back for the disrespect that he got. I think he's just going to go out there, play football, and say, hey, guys, remember we were on the same team last year? Good to see you.
Yeah.
I just think, I don't think there's really bad blood there. I think he's going to play well, but I just don't think he's going to be top 10. 13, Tony Pollard. I think you're right. I think he's due for a touchdown. I think he's due for a big game. I think he's going to have a big game. Will
Miami.
they win? I don't know. I don't know what to think with this Tennessee team. Actually, I do know what to think. This is exactly what I thought. They're shit. But Tony Pollard's playing good. I got him at 13. Everyone's just listening to my thought process. Yeah. There we go. 12, I got Alvin Kamara. Might be low. I think they're going to run into some problems this week with that Atlanta front. And 11, Derrick Henry.
Wow.
He had a monstrous week last week.
He comes back down to earth.
Force Lamar to throw.
Yeah.
Just force him to throw. Like, he can throw, but would you rather have your team get run on by the Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry option, or would you rather force Lamar to throw to Aguilar, Bateman, and Flowers? Flowers is good, but Aguilar and Bateman just aren't.
Yeah.
And they're not connecting with
honestly,
injuries.
though, like, it's actually crazy that, like, Aguilar and Bateman, like, I agree with you, but at the same time, like, they kind of put up decent numbers in that offense. Like, I know that there's nowhere else for the ball to go, so I'm like, they actually seem like more content with their wide receiver room than I think the public opinion, like, really feels.
But it's so hit or miss with them, though. It's just like Aguilar had a big game because he had a catch, made a guy miss, and went for 60 yards.
Yeah.
Like, that's not going to happen every game, and
still wasn't like
both of them doing that. It's just, I don't know, man.
No, I got you.
And especially in a run-heavy team, it's just hard to go with those guys.
Yeah. 10, this is where I have JT going against Pittsburgh is going to be tough. He'll get the goal line carries. I am waiting for an Anthony Richardson rushing touchdown, though. So, like, this might be the week. I do kind of like Pittsburgh, too, but I think just because Will called me out on my bullshit that I'm going to have to pick Pittsburgh. 9, this is where I have Kamara. I'm with you. I think the Saints are going to have some trouble. I think it's going to be very similar to the way the Eagles game went. And I think Atlanta's played good against better teams so far this year, so they might be a little bit more battle-tested. 8, Aaron Jones going against Green Bay. The fact that it's in Green Bay, like, just makes me want to think that, like, Aaron Jones is going to get one more Lambeau leap, but at the same time, I'm like, every single time I pick this revenge game, like, on a touchdown parlay, it never cashes. So I'm like, I'm battling my demons right now. I really am. 7, Achane, Monday Night Football versus Tennessee. I actually feel like he's the only player in Miami I'm playing. No Tyreek Hill in my rankings. No Jalen Waddle. Until there's an answer at quarterback, I can't jeopardize that. Look, if you have Tyreek Hill, you're playing him, but I wouldn't even expect 10.
You can't.
No, like
throw him at flex and be like, it's just, I'm okay with putting him at flex.
Yes. But prepare otherwise. It's just tough because, like, if you trade him right now, you're not going to get what he's worth. So, like, think you're just going to hang tight. So I'm sorry that there's not a better answer there, but I just think that's the reality of the scenario.
Dude, and people are taking him like 2 overall.
Yeah.
Man, if they have 2, it's different, but they don't have 2.
Yeah. No, absolutely. 6, James Cook. I mean, Kev texted us last night.
Legit.
Let James cook.
And then
he's
dropped
cooking.
A touchdown.
Yeah.
Literally dropped a touchdown.
He did, but he got enough last week. So
I know, dude. I almost freaked out because I'm like, Kev, did you just mush?
Yeah.
In my fantasy league? Same league I have Shakir starting. He caught the touchdown after. I was
good.
Like, all right,
yeah, don't matter. Don't matter. 5, Bijan. I don't love this matchup versus the Saints, though.
It's tricky.
Yeah, I originally had Bijan at 9 and Kamara at 5, but I kind of felt a little bit better switching them just because I feel like Bijan is so crucial to them getting up and down the field. A prop that I love taking, though, was Algiers over on rushing yards every single week. The line's around like 20, early 20s. Bro, he gets like 5-6 rushes a game. Like, he's always falling forward. So that's a line that I like. And I mean, Bijan's catching 3+ passes every single week, bro.
Except when I take him for his over and receiving yards, man.
Yeah. You got to take the catches, not the yards.
I know. I just thought it was going to be one of those ones where you can catch and break it against a defense like they were playing. So.
Honestly, any single time I take a running back, I never just take the rushing or the receiving. I take the combined rushing and receiving line.
Let's talk about this.
Okay.
Why would you run to the outside when you see Nick Bolton's cheating to that side on a 4th down like that?
I think that was a boring-ass play call.
I think that was a dumb play call. Dude, run it right up the gut.
Yeah.
Right up the gut.
Yeah.
Get there. The shortest path to get there, you get there. What the fuck was that call, dude?
Yeah.
And what is Kirk doing not seeing that Nick Bolton is cheating to that side and changing it? Calling a timeout, doing something.
They called it. So that was a play out of a timeout. So that's one thing. But 2, like, I just kind of feel like that's the difference between good teams and great teams, right? Like you do have to credit Kansas City for making that stop. A defensive credit, not an offensive credit.
Great play.
I actually feel like that needs to be a play action to the left side, bootleg off of that, pitch right off that to the pylon, 1st down. Not a big play, and if you're running that bootleg, I know Kirk Cousins isn't like a mobile or like athletic, agile like that. He could rush that 1st down all day long. So I don't agree with that play call. When you put the 2 backs in the 3-point stance in that offense, like, I'm happy it's back because that's old school football. You can't do that on 4th and 1 with the game on the line. Look, like I said, they can't have 8 red zone trips, not come up with points, like not a field goal. That's the difference of that game. So look, I agree that there should have been a flag call there. Yes, it was poor ball placement. I'm not doing this officiating shit. It's the NFL. You play football your entire life. There's plays each offense, defense, they typically get around 40 to 60 plays on each side of the ball every single week. There's plays that could be made in between that. Anyway, 4, Brees Hall going against Denver. 3 Saquon at Tampa Bay. 2 D-Hen Sunday Night Football, and 1 Kyron. I just don't know who's going to score more touchdowns than Kyron with the way that their offense is. If that being the case, I like his odds to score 2 every week.
Do you?
Yeah.
I mean, dude, the one he caught was pretty cool.
Yeah. It was cool. Sick, bro. It was sick.
He's solid, but at 10, I got Achane. I actually literally wrote, I'm like, sneaky Chuba Hubbard. Just want to throw a name out there. Chuba Hubbard fucking balled.
Yeah.
He will ball.
He will.
Solid player. Devon Achane here at 10, though.
Miles Sanders.
Yeah. $60 million of shit. Devon Achane, I mean, even without a quarterback, he's going to be a guy he's going to get volume. He's the running back. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. So he's going to get volume. He's going to get points. 9, I got Jahmyr Gibbs. Talented back. 8 is where I have Kyron. I totally understand the thought of getting 2 touchdowns. If he doesn't get 2 touchdowns, though, that's where I'm thinking he's 8. I think he gets a touchdown. Don't know if it's going to be the second one. Don't know if the Rams are going to be as effective as that. They got their big win over San Fran.
Bro, versus Chicago, though?
I think Chicago's kind of hard to run the football on.
Ooh. Jonathan Taylor wouldn't agree.
Yeah, but I think Jonathan Taylor's on another level than most of the running backs in the league. But beside the point, 7, this is where I have Brian Robinson. I think Brian Robinson's in for 2 touchdowns this week. I think this guy's going to get maybe a couple of catches, but he is running for 120 2 touchdowns this week. They're going to force the ball down, and like you said, they're going to keep the ball on the ground a lot more. They're going to run some options between Brian Robinson and Jaden Daniels, and on the off chance that Eckler doesn't play, that means Brian Robinson's volume goes up. So I love Brian Robinson this week. Love him to get in the end zone for a bet also. Joe Mixon at 6. Is he playing?
I don't have him in the rankings because I still see that questionable.
I see the questionable tag, and apparently I'm going week to week here because I see the questionable tag last week. I'm like, he's not gonna fucking But this time I got a feeling.
All the questionables I don't put in, Twan got in. So
I was gonna say I got a feeling this week, guys. I got a little hunch.
Yeah, you got a Thielen from last week.
My inside sources told me that Mixon's playing. 4, I got Jonathan Taylor. 3, I got Brees Hall. 2, I got Saquon Barkley, and 1, I have Bijan. It's going to be hard for me to not put Bijan as 1, seeing the usage, seeing the skill level, and the fact that at some point he is going to have that he's going to have a 40-point game.
No, and no doubt he is. And I mean, you're talking about a high floor. Like this might be the highest floor in all of football. Honestly, he's a stud, and this is how he should have been used last year.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wide receivers.
You said the bottom's gonna get a little spiced.
Yeah.
All right. It is almost October. It's pumpkin time, so
yeah,
a little spice.
Well, I did have Quentin Johnson in here, and I took him out after all the injury things. I want to give the guy credit, but I'm like, I need you to have. Yeah, no, definitely not. So 20 is gonna be DJ Moore. Almost put Romo Dunze in the list above DJ Moore. You did. Yeah. 19, Jameson Williams, Monday Night Football. I think the biggest beneficiary of Laporta being banged up is Gibbs in Williams, so he's going to eat. 18, I do think that with Jordan Love back in the lineup, that is my assumption, that Jaden Reed absolutely kills it whenever Jordan Love is out there. So back in the rankings versus Minnesota. 17, Darnell Mooney.
He's balling. Bro,
Darnell Mooney is still on free agency for a lot of fantasy leagues. That shouldn't be the case. Look, Drake London's playing really well, but there's no reason that Darnell Mooney, for the amount of opportunity that he sees in that offense, shouldn't be rostered. And if you're someone that's like me that went back heavy, I always love having an extra guy on the bench for a wide receiver or a questionable flex or dealing with injury. Get that now while you can. So that's just kind of how I feel about Mooney. 16, Devontae Adams going against Cleveland. Look, Malik Neighbors showed that Denzel Ward or that defense just isn't playing the way they were last year. And, maybe Myles Garrett being banged up is a large part of that. But I do have Devontae Adams here. It's tough for me to keep him off the rankings. It really is. Above him, 15, Godwin. I have the pair in here. I do versus Philly. I mean, the way that their secondary's been playing is not a reason for me to feel threatened by this by any means. I think Philly might shut down the run. But who's going to cover Evans and Godwin? They've both been absolutely killing it. 14, new name to the list. Put some respect on Khalil Shakir. Khalil Shakir on the list, catching the ball a ton. The yak yards, we love it. unquestionably the number one wide receiver in Buffalo at this moment. If you're asking my opinion, I think he's taking away targets from Kincaid, if you want me to be real with you. Kev did call a Coleman touchdown last night. That did happen, but just not.
Everyone got in the end zone last
night. Yeah, you ain't kidding. just not as involved as I would like. I know it's still early, but Coleman's going to be more of like a long-term play for sure. 13 is where I have Zay Flowers. I think like he can break a couple, and I do just think that Buffalo's defense is going to be so worried about stopping the run that he's going to sit on a couple of like ins or dig routes and just kind of find that hole in between his zone, and he'll have some yak yards with that. Don't know about the end zone, but 6 catches, at least a buck. 12, Garrett Wilson. I actually made this swap. I had Garrett Wilson a little bit higher, but I switched him for DK. DK made the top 10. Just moved Garrett Wilson out.
No Garrett Wilson in my rankings.
I get the whole PS2 thing, but I do just kind of think like the Jets need to make it like a focal point for this dude to catch the ball 10 times. Look, Braylon Allen and Breece Hall are playing like extremely well. This passing offense needs to be ran through him, and I just don't know how many more games he's going to be able to take the back seat without like us starting to hear like a little bit more of that. So I know everybody with the Jets is happy about just Rodgers being there and things like that, but Garrett Wilson does need to get going. 11 is where I have T. Higgins going against Carolina. I do think he scores this week.
Wow, T. Higgins.
T. Higgins, yeah.
It's a good one. Definitely not in my rankings.
Okay.
I'm going to just hope it's Jamar Chase 3 times.
Yeah, so, I hope so too.
20, Roma Dunze. You nailed it. You called it right on the head. I got to stop making fancy when you do that.
Yo, hey, you give it up.
The nonverbals off the charts.
You just smirk and your cheeks get a little rosy. So
At 19, Tyreek Hill. Listen, I get it. He's out. He might score 5, but he also might score 20. And I think if Stu Hutley's going in there, they're going to just all they're going to do this week is focus on trying to find ways to get Tyreek Hill the ball in practice. Mm-hmm. And I think that it'll execute, and they'll get some kind of touchdown off of it. I'm putting him here at 19. 18, Zay Flowers. I don't know if he'll hit the 100-yard mark. I do see him getting 75, 80.
Bunch of catches.
A lot of catches sprinkled in there. Maybe a touchdown. If he does, that's a much bigger day. 17, JSN.
No JSN. Lockett had a huge week last week.
But I think now it's just going to be time that JSN's going to be the second guy to get it, because I do think DK.
It's going to keep being that back and forth with the two. Yeah.
Yep. I think that JSN's good, and I like their matchup this week. 16, Khalil Shakir. Here we are on the same page. Shakir's legit as fuck. So he's in here. 15, I'm going Terry, and while I am a little remiss, a little bit nervous about it, I do like that they're making it a focal point now to say, all right, dude, like, let's try and throw the long ball. Terry can go get it.
Yeah.
And Jaden Daniels is now having more trust. Every game he's getting better, and I think that we're going to see, just like I said last week, every single game he's going to keep improving one little thing until he becomes a very good quarterback.
Yeah.
And he's good right now. He looks good. He's playing good. I think he's going to get better, and I think the beneficiary is Terry.
Would he be playing this well in Chicago right now? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I just think Cliff Kingsbury knows like exactly like this is the Cliff Kingsbury's type of quarterback.
Yeah,
it really is.
No doubt.
Holy bust in Chicago, by the way. Imagine they're looking at Justin Fields being 3-0, and they're like, "Oh fuck." DJ Moore's not happy at all. Like,
yeah.
But this is one of those things that we were talking about. So. Again, I didn't think that Caleb Williams was going to be a bust, but
they still did win that trade.
They did. They won that trade if you could throw Caleb Williams out, they still won that trade.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But I am going to go with, at 14, hoping he plays, Devonta Smith. Questionable tag?
Why not just throw him in the rankings, I don't have him or AJ.
I just, if he plays, dude, he's just, the volume that he's going to get is going to be absolutely insane. 13, maybe a little low, Mike Evans.
Yeah, that's low. But not too low, but.
But the reason why, at 12, I have Chris Godwin. I just think they're going to split it this week. I think they're both, and Godwin absolutely has that potential to be top 5. Maybe you just gave that away a little bit right there.
No.
No? Okay, damn.
I said Godwin already.
Oh, you did? Okay.
My God.
We're losing it.
Stop trying to be fucking whatever.
We're losing it.
Kid gets one UFC fight in the sphere, and he's predicting everything.
And get it wrong. But it is what it is. 12, I got Godwin. Think he's just actively involved, and just the way they're getting him involved, being in the slot, like he's catching touchdowns.
Killing it.
Love it. 11, Brandon Ayuk.
No Ayuk.
Is it because of the quarterback?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm worried about San Fran this week. I think they're going to win. I don't think it's going to be pretty. I don't think it's going to be pretty.
I don't think it'll be, but I think that they paid this guy so much money that they're just going to, you get him the ball, dude.
No, I know.
Like, you're running out of options here.
Yeah. No, absolutely. 10 on the list. This is where I have Olave. Of course, I sat him for Mondre Stevenson, and of course, that cucked me. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I get for trying to play a fucking Patriot. So, Mondre's on the block, guys. 9, Mike Evans. Absolutely Mike Evans. No question. Matt needed him to score a touchdown last week. Didn't happen. Of course, it's going to happen this week.
Happen.
Yeah.
He'll take Godwin this week.
Yeah.
Just, Matt, don't worry, brother. I'm feeling you. I feel you.
Yeah. 8, DK Metcalf. Kid's a stud. DK is so good. I'm so happy. I have DK in a couple leagues this year. 7, right above him. A little ballsy. Drake London. He's catching the ball a shit ton, dude. He really is. Looks good in the contested catches. He's not going to have a ton of yak yards. He's going to be like one of those go up and get it guys. And I think he's still kind of elevating that part to his game. But I know that this is probably his best quarterback scenario, which is making him a little bit more comfortable like that. So 6, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I felt a little bit iffy on this one because I think J-Mo is going to eat. I think the running back's going to eat. There's one thing Seattle's D does good. It's the secondary, no doubt. So something to keep in mind there, but I think he still gets 85 and 6 catches. Not sure about the end zone. 5, MHJ. Think there's going to be points scored. And I know it's kind of contradicting because I didn't put Terry McLaurin in my rankings, but I just think that we've kind of seen MHA's a little bit more proven at this point through the first 3 weeks of the season, and that Cardinals offense needs him to kind of be effective. So MHA here. 4, Rashee Rice. Dude's balling. Rashee Rice looks like the best wide receiver in the NFL right now. He's not the best wide receiver, but he's playing like it. The volume. I know he hasn't gone in the end zone as much as people would like, but
got the right attitude on the field too. I don't know if you saw post game. He's like, whatever Pat says, I'm just gonna go.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
Especially with the problems you had this offseason. Keep your mouth shut. Go out there, play football, and say, Pat, whatever you want to do, I'll do it.
Absolutely.
That's the turnaround attitude that you want to say.
For sure. Looks great. That offense is really missing an impact of like a Hollywood Brown. If they had him, bro, that's a different offense. And I know Pacheco, but like it didn't look like the ground game skipped a beat. So 3, Jamar Chase. Hope you give me 3 this week. We got to make up for week 1 and 2 going against Carolina. I'm sorry, JC Horn, you're cooked, buddy. 2, I got JJ going against Green Bay. I actually don't think it matters. They're scheming. They're productive. It don't matter. But I do still think Green Bay comes away with that one. 1, Nico Collins.
Is this the second week you've had Nico Collins at 1?
Yup, bro. Nico Collins, that dude. I'm telling you, Nico Collins going to lead the NFL in receiving yards this year.
He's so good. Love to see that. Steve, at 10, I got Drake London. Not crazy ranking, right? He's productive, right? And Kirk likes to go to him, so he's going to get a lot of catches. I'm going to go with Rashee Rice here at 9. Again, he's played great. I get it. He's projections like number 2 of all receivers right now. This game is going to be scrappy and with the Chargers, so I'm looking at a guy like Nico Collins at 8 that I have above him. So I think Nico's
going to have that's low.
It could be low, but dude, there's so many weapons in that offense, and I do think they'll mix it up. And at some point, they're going to be like, Tank, you're
expendable, buddy.
We're going to have to find a way to get you the ball, or we're going to have to talk trade.
Yeah.
7, Jay Jettas. Now, might be low. The Jair Alexander matchup scares me. Again, you're a top 7 receiver in fantasy, so you're probably 2 points off of like the top 5 guy. So, but I have Jay Jettas here at 7. 6, I have Amon-Ra. I feel the same exact way. A lot of mouths to feed in that offense. Don't know how I feel about Amon-Ra getting the end zone. 5, MHJ. Same exact numbers there. 4, sure you'd have him pretty similar here. Malik Neighbors.
Give it to me, Twad.
5
Give it to me.
Skilled wide receiver in the NFL. He is.
But you won't say he's a top 10 fantasy wide receiver?
No, he is.
Okay.
He is.
Oh, so
top 5 skill. I'm giving him like the better thing.
Okay.
He wins games for that team.
When you texted in the chat and like you said that, I was like, I couldn't like fully understand if you were insinuating that or if you were like like take it easy, but like his talent is crazy.
Dude, his talent is nuts.
Nah.
And like, yeah, he'll be very, very productive in fantasy and top 10 in fantasy as well. He might be top 5 in fantasy.
Yeah.
But what I'm talking about is when I watch this football game and Malik Neighbors is separating himself as a guy who's played 3 games in the entire NFL with a bum at quarterback and a bum offense. No offense, but like he is all they have. And Singletary's playing good, but I think Singletary's playing good because people are going, we really got to look out for this Malik Neighbors guy. So I'm going Malik at 4. 3. DK Metcalf is going to destroy.
Wow, Twan, all these lows, and I'm kind of liking this top 5. So,
dude, I'm telling you, DK is a dog. Big week this week. Jamar at 2, CD at 1.
Okay, yeah, can't complain about that. That's a very fantasy friendly top 10 wide receivers right there. But the back end was real iffy though.
It is, dude. Yeah. It is. Like, it gets hard.
Yeah.
It gets really fucking hard.
Absolutely.
Like, it's just hard to not put Tyreek Hill in there, so that's taking up a back 10 spot when I don't know if it should, but, you know.
I know.
I have to make up for all the shit I've talked.
I know. I legit have Darnell Mooney, like, in this list over Tyreek Hill, but I'm like, what last week showed me that I should believe otherwise?
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Literally absolutely nothing.
Oh, man. Twan, this will be an exciting weekend for you. I'm excited for week 4. Hopefully you're recovered by Tuesday so we can bang out those power rankings.
Get to go.
Yeah.
I'll literally sleep all day Monday.
Good.
We're going back to my buddy Jeff's. We're going to eat some Chinese food on Sunday. I'm going to get in the car Monday morning, drive back, eat some more greasy shit food.
Nice.
And Tuesday, I'm going to be like, all right,
nice. Let's go.
Let's
go. Yeah, got some homework to do Tuesday morning, but
it's power rankings.
Let's go. I'm fucking amped up. I'm amped up. Oh, man. Fired up. Since the Sandbox fans, that's going to wrap things up for the week 4 fantasy football rankings. Can't believe we're going to be through the first quarter already. But if you guys have those fantasy questions, make sure you tap in the link down below. Ask us your fantasy questions. Hit us up on Instagram. We're real active on the stories, so you guys make sure you're reaching out, and we'll make sure we get you right. You guys know the deal. Peace, love, 5 stars, nothing less.